New Vegas, a glimpse of civilization in the perilous Nevada wasteland, and sits as possibly one of the most preserved pre-war cities. As a result, it has become a target for both Caesar's Legion and the New California Republic. Before the Great War, the city was called Las Vegas, a fast-paced place for gambling and celebration, where people could gain riches within a weekend, or go home broke from gambling away every asset they had. Vegas is also the origin of Robert House, who would one day save Vegas from the atomic fires. Born in 2020, years before the Great War between China and America, House was born into a wealthy family, but was orphaned at an early age due to the death of his parents in an accident. House was then cheated out of his inheritance by his half-brother Anthony, but it cannot be said that Robert House was not a resourceful man. House attended Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Then, at the age of 22, he went on to found Robco in his hometown of Vegas. It was actually Robco who created the Pip-Boy and the Securitrons. As well as this, they lent a hand in creating America's secret weapon against the communist threat, Liberty Prime, alongside the US government and the General Atomic Corporation. House even had a portrait done of himself at the feet of the giant war machine, although House never got to see it function, as it was not operating until after the Great War. House turned Robco into a thriving company, and used money and power to gain control in other companies, such as the Lucky 38 Hotel and Casino and the H&H Tool Company, which had belonged to his father before his brother took over. By 2065, tensions had grown between the USA and China, and House foresaw that a war would be coming within the next 15 years. For that reason, House started making contingency plans, both for himself and Vegas. Mr. House, now an extremely wealthy and resourceful man with connections to America's most powerful, started pulling his resources into protecting his beloved hometown. He began work on an army of Securitrons, some to police the Strip and maintain House's control in Vegas. He hid the bulk of his Securitron army under Fortification Hill in a secret bunker, where, years later, the hill would serve as the Legion's base of operations for the Battle of Hoover Dam. House then fitted his personal hotel, the Lucky 38, with radar jammers, missile arrays, and a laser defense network. He was determined for him and his hometown to survive the apocalypse. House suspected that majority of Vegas would be safe from the war, but he believed that the surrounding area would fall prey to some damage when the bombs fell. To be sure, he had scientists at Sunnyvale create the Platinum Chip. The Platinum Chip is a data storage device that contained a program that would upgrade both the Securitrons and the city's defense to a Mark II operating system. This would ensure the safety and prosperity of Vegas. The only problem was that House's calculations were off by a day. The chip was meant to arrive on the 23rd of October 2077, the day the Great War began. But the war began 20 hours earlier, resulting in the chip not being delivered. Before the chip could leave Sunnyvale, the city was reduced to rubble, and the chip was buried beneath it. For these reasons, when the war began, House was forced to defend Vegas with his Mark I defences, which as a result left parts of Vegas destroyed. Unfortunately, during the mass destruction of the nuclear blast, the systems had multiple crashes. House was forced into a coma. Although most of Vegas was safe, both House and his Securitrons were offline, and evidence shows that Vegas society that House attempted to secure was lost in bloody feuds, resulting in more damage to Vegas. For many years, raider tribes took refuge on the Strip, including harsh cannibal tribes, until 2138, when NCR scouts arrived at the Hoover Dam. The arrival of the scouts was detected by the now conscious House, and he realised that the advanced group would take interest in both the dam and the raider-ridden Vegas. For this reason, House, who had remained safe, locked away in the Lucky 38, unleashed his Securitron police force to reclaim the Strip. Whilst the army under Fortification Hill remained dormant and sealed away without the Platinum Chip. Instead of simply wiping out the various tribes, House offered them an ultimatum. They could either become part of House's New Vegas and try to rebuild a similar pre-war society that House wanted, or they could be sent out into the wastes where they could continue their savage ways. 3 tribes accepted: the Chairman, the Omertas, and the White Glove Society. The Kings denied the offer and returned to Freeside to continue their less glamorous lifestyle. Each one of the 3 families was given a different role to play in House's New Vegas. The Tops catered for the general tourist, coming to win big in the thriving city, and it's run by the Chairman. The Ultralux is run by the White Glove Society, and is possibly one of the most prestigious places in the wasteland. It's where the excessively rich come to rub shoulders with one another and gamble away their excessive caps. Finally, the Gomorrah is run by the Omertas and caters for the lowest classes of people who House knew would be needed in this new society, be it drugs, prostitution, or any other questionable activity. You can probably find it at the Gomorrah. Now known as the 3 families, along with the Securitrons, House would be able to stop raiders from retaking Vegas, but the NCR still posed a significant threat. Instead of facing the NCR on the battlefield, House sent members from the 3 families as well as Securitrons to occupy the dam when the NCR arrived. When they did, they were met by a Securitron bearing House's face and message. In return for House's rule in New Vegas to go unchallenged, the NCR would be allowed to operate on the dam, and would be entitled to 95% of the power made. As well as this, they would be given the McCarran Air Force Base to host their operations in the Mojave. House also ordered the sanction to be lifted, which stopped NCR citizens from entering the Strip. This agreement was reached, and Vegas prospered under House. A flow of tourists from all corners of the NCR's empire came to Vegas, and it became the fast-paced city that House remembered, with people flocking in to gamble away their hard-earned caps. But it's unclear of House's intentions. Does he honestly intend to work alongside the NCR, or is he just biding time before he reobtains the Platinum Chip, where he can release his Securitron army on the Mojave? Of course, at the same time, another empire had spotted Vegas's potential, but this was not an empire of potential and diversity. This empire came to power through slavery, turmoil, and one man's illusion of recreating one of the world's greatest dynasties.